So the 240Z is having a small setback in the build.
Never, ever buy someone else's project car. It's what I've told you since forever. You and I actually had an agreement on that principle. Why? Because not only is it the hardest way to finish a car, but also because you live in a constant state of fear that if you did it wrong, you'll blow the whole thing up. Like deciding whether you want to tell your significant other that you don't actually like the outfit that they picked for dinner. Don't ever tell the truth. In the last video, we went through all the parts and details of this 240Z project. We talked about what we knew and what we didn't know since the car has been in progress for about 5 years or so. But you and I took on Chad's build with the promise to get it running and driving. That's the goal. But to do that means going through every bolt, every part, every gasket, and every button to see if it's actually hooked up to anything and to make sure all the parts we said we had are actually doing what they're supposed to do, because this car needs to head to a tune shop ASAP. So welcome back to the build. Feel free to start your lunch or dinner and let's get back into this car. The RB26 single turbo in this car has never been turned on. It was turned over at Driver Motorsports, but that's about it. And as someone who's relatively afraid of RBs because opening one is like opening up a political argument on Facebook, I'm really hoping with you that we don't have to do that. But this car has 200,000 miles and we're bound to have some issues. Like the last time we were even looking at this car, I noticed that there were some really weird things going on. The rear rotors had washers behind the caliper. I don't know why, but I don't trust that. The car was also powered by the iconic Bluetooth axle shafts. Glass wasn't in any of the pallets sent to us, and we were missing the bridge seats that were on the long list of retail price car parts that were somewhere on this car. So after some back and forth, Driver Motorsports found it, shipped it separately, and what arrived was an accurate depiction of how the rest of this car build is probably going to go.
Let's try that. Will number 2 be safe? This is the front. Don't ship glass. So the 240Z is having a small setback in the build. The good news is finding another one's very easy, very affordable. We should be able to get one, no problem.
While we wait for new glass to show up, we decided to throw on the smallest external mod that would at least make it not look totally stock: a new rear carbon fiber spoiler. Now, I'm not sure where the idea of the first spoiler came from for these cars, but I'm gonna give credit to one of my favorite racing teams of all time, BRE Racing. The BRE Z was a fighter against the 2000 GT in the early 70s, and back in the day, it's the reason you didn't see the 2000 GT race more than a single year, with Carroll Shelby taking the helm of that racing team. Now, that's another story, but the BRE Z is an iconic car. To get that installed meant taking off the nameplates and moving around the small intake pipes that feed the Series 1 vents from the cargo space through the trunk lid. The only other pieces we plan to add for this car are the front bumper and authentic OEM chrome fender mirrors. But we need to get the car running. And to do that means making sure power can get to the rear wheels. The differential in the 240Z is an S15 R200 differential with a 3.69 final gear ratio and a helical limited slip differential. It's also got a boatload of new suspension bits in the back thanks to Techno Toy Tuning and Willwood, which is a bit confusing to look at, but we'll worry about that when we get to alignment day. For now, we needed to figure out how to make some 240SX axle shafts work, which is why I brought in our resident S chassis mechanic, Jackson.
I should call her. Oh, I got it.
The shafts that came to us with the car were 30 millimeters in width instead of 28 millimeters in width. And that 2 millimeter difference meant a $500 bill to get the right ones. We're going to keep track of these unplanned expenses in a bit because you and I, when we're having too bit of a good day, we need something to humble ourselves because everything on this car is insanely expensive and it makes no sense. And while we weren't too worried about the glass because we had driver buy insurance for it, we didn't know that there was a $500 deductible and FedEx only valued the glass at $300. So we'll take another $550 hit for the new front glass, which was at least one more thing checked off until we realized another problem: our rear hubs.
See it? Can you see it, Squidward?
There you go.
nut. Need to take the Union 15.
There were 3 big things Driver Motorsports asked us to do when they dropped off the car. Check the bolts, do a boost check, and finally, do a coolant check. Our bolt check has made it exactly 1 bolt when we realized that we were in trouble. The axle bolt showed us that the S13 hub on the passenger side was bad. Now, if you have a bad hub, a few things can happen. You can lose your traction control, you can have some steering vibrations, and in certain cases, you can lose your entire wheel and crash your car. If you wanted to replace it, it's typically pretty easy, but seeing that these hubs and this whole suspension setup aren't OEM, it's a bit more tricky, which meant calling our resident master mechanic, Johnny.
He rotates the wrench.
Brother, I have got no brain cells left. Johnny, it's not working, Johnny. I think we gotta take the axle out.
Freaking tools flying across the shop hours ago.
Some?
1 millimeter. You okay?
Yep, no, I'm good.
Yahtzee.
Mazel tov. Definitely would not have made it this far today without your help.
Okay, stop right there once.
Did we push through it?
So the back housing came off of the actual hub piece. See how it's crooked there? Everything else sat like it's supposed to. Now
So
we
we
have
need
to,
to
I have
get
to
the
pull
other.
it back off. They will warranty this one, but that should not have happened.
No shaky shake. Cool.
Rib is just not shining through enough, but it's fine.
You're not alone if you need assistance.
Did you just like mock laugh back at me? That's how I know I won that argument.
Run it back.
Because that's all she said back. Sorry. What?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in absolutely no position to be doing anything besides trying to get this car ready at all, which is exactly why we bought new wheels and tires. You can hate me and you can argue with me and you can tell me I shouldn't do this, but proper fitting wheels and tires, they just have to happen. It has to be perfect. Otherwise, what's the point? Which, by the way, if you're looking to support the channel outside of a comment or subscription, which does mean a ton, and you're looking for car parts, mod your car over at martiniworks.com. It's our own brand. It's built in Appleton, Wisconsin, and we're big on helping folks with getting wheel and tire packages shipped right to their door, performance parts that might be hard to get, and you buying those parts from us helps us keep ads from other brands out of these videos. So if you're looking to do that, it would mean the world. Anyway, back to the instinctual purchase that I definitely don't regret. I love teardrop wheels more than any human probably should, but they don't fit the car. And while I did buy some RS Watanabes last year, those specs were only if we were planning to add the fender flares, which I'm still not too confident in. Just like my taxes. Why am I talking about taxes so much? I don't know. The world is weird and I'm scared. But what I can say is the 2-piece work-equip S1 2Ps in a gold face and polished lip in 15x8+0 will be perfect fitment. When we built our first Datsun 280Z in 2013, God, I'm old, we had a set of Atara Pisangs and Rota Shakatens, which were RS Watanabes and Hayashi street wheels. So there's a small part of joy that we're doing it this way with the second Z the right way, which makes me feel like I corrected teenager Alex's car build from 12 years ago. And I still haven't quite decided what we're going to do with the exterior yet. So if you have any good ideas, let me know below. The comments in the last video told me that a Wangan Z is a good idea, like a Devil Z build, but I might need some help in figuring out how to do that. We want to keep it sleeper looking, outside of the wheels and bumper bits, but I'll take any and all common ideas if we can try to figure that out together. In the meantime, the Yokohama AO52s should work well with the work wheels. They're a 200 treadwear tire, they'll dial in really nice with a square shoulder setup, and that means that when it comes down to actually putting the power down, we should be pretty good in that space. And we won't be dialing in the fitment in this episode because we need to have as much space on the dyno as possible just in case something happens. But I'm confident this is the right choice. After a quick bolt check to everything we have, it's time for the home stretch of work, or at least we thought. But the coolant issue, this was something I've never dealt with before.
There it is. feel, or see anything. Let it go. I'm gonna go grab a smoky and I just need the smoke.
I get paid to vape.
Smoke your nicotine. Huh? Smoke your nicotine, boy. Oh, this is doing great, actually. We should just do this all the time.
I have heard of it.
That smells really good.
Stop. Pink and blue is the name of the flavor.
In a coolant pressure test, your goal is to build enough pressure to emulate a fully operating engine when it's at temperature. And this can be anywhere from 10 to 20 psi, and ours was at a truancy level of 0. The custom pipes were leaking. The bungs for the radiator were leaking. And even after those were fixed, we couldn't find the source of this leak until we filled it all the way up to the top, and that's when we realized we were missing the entire RB heater core elements of the engine. Now, this was purposeful. We were planning to run some sort of heating unit in this car, but we didn't get that done, and Driver Motorsports didn't want to put the OEM one back in.
All right, so a little update, because we don't have the heater core element of the RB, which means in the back here, there's essentially a Y outlet port. It goes around, comes back in to some sort of coolant reservoir, heats everything, and then it gets fed back to the water pump. We don't have any of that, and we don't have time, unfortunately, to go buy the delete kit because all of the RB stuff is in Australia. Now, so what we're gonna do is we have 5/8 line. I actually put a plug on one of the two Ys, and then we're gonna feed it back using this brake line. Should work, should be enough for us to pressure test. If we pressure test it and it blows out, we know it's no good, but we need this to hold about 15 to 20 pounds-ish of coolant pressure, which will tell us that the system will work until we get the actual delete kit.
It's all really easy.
It definitely did not take about 2 hours to come to this concoction of materials, which is either a PG or R-rated toy, a plug, right? And then a 10 mil, which this comes standard in all Nissans, but this one is actually a Ford.
That was until you and I realized that we don't need a $300 delete kit for this. We need some 5/8 brake lines, some rubber plugs, easy, more pressure testing, more water chasing, more bolt checking, more groaning and complaining. We were finally onto our biggest and final problem. It didn't move.
God, yeah, the brakes are dragging. You think that's why those spacers were on?
Remember those washers from the beginning? The ones behind the rotors? What we thought might have been installed just for moving the car around ended up being the reason our coilover conversion kit was coming into contact with the rotor.
So we're running into an issue where this caliper was actually binding up on this adapter plate right here, which is used to make this whole kit and conversion work. So when we got the car, there were washers behind the studs, and we thought that maybe that was just to make the teardrop wheels work, but then we tried to push it and the three of us could barely push it. So we added the washer back, we've got the hub-centric piece, and then when we look at the side, we have clearance now. So I'm not sure if a washer's the right move, but I don't know if Techno Toy Tuning has a different way to do this. So I'm gonna shoot them a message. We're gonna get this assembled. We're gonna see if this fixes it, but we could not move this car about 15 minutes ago. So hopefully this fixes it and we'll see what happens.
We are finally ready for the dyno. And even though it seemed like every bolt fought us and every axle shaft girth millimeter number was wrong, which is weird phrasing again, and we were learning just what wasn't and what was done on this car, to see it getting pushed onto the trailer for the first time in over 5 years with the goal of tuning it felt insane. It was progress. That when this car first came to us, it was essentially just an engine with some suspension parts and a body. And that is now a fully connected, ready to go car, which means you guys and gals deserve to hear what at least the first start sounds like. In the next video, we're gonna see how well the engine was built, if everything was done correctly, figure out how much power we can actually make, and fingers crossed, have our first drive and run into 0 issues. But we both know that that's probably not gonna happen. If you enjoyed the series, I hope you subscribed, and if you're looking for car parts, mod your car with your friends at martiniworks.com. I'm Alex. I'm excited to get this car back on the road with all of you, and we'll see you at Slammedenuff Gatlinburg, hopefully with this car.